Welcome back to Tren In The Booth. This is episode 6. We are joined with...
special guest here, so we're going to get this man to talk us through how he went from BBC Outtakes to the Aussie Outback.
From a Gymshark athlete to Team U's top customer.
From an influencer rider to mullet and sliders, it's Stu Mac. How are you, sir?
I'm good, mate.
Welcome to the show, Stuart.
This is my first ever podcast.
First and last?
First and last, yes.
First and last.
How many have you been asked to be on in your time?
Over the years? Oh, countless. Hundreds.
Countless.
So why Tren In The Booth then? Why is this your debut?
Guilt trip. So I'd give something back.
To the community.
I got a haircut.
I just got a haircut, first haircut.
Nice.
I wore my nice jumper.
In the past, 3 months? 3 months?
Yeah.
Good,
I
good.
trim.
Nice.
Right, mate, you know you've seen how we run this. So, the start is your life story. So, tell us, yes, this is what people want. They want your life story, shot. So, I want you to tell us where you're from, like originally, where you grew up, quickly touch on what your life was like growing up, and then just touch on kind of either big events or what you would say turning points in your life that's took you up until this point now.
Wow. I thought... I mean, I don't listen to podcasts or watch
You've
podcasts.
not watched a single one of these, have you?
Nope.
Why is he like that?
like,
Episode 6, mate, I met my good mate.
You know how we run? No, I don't.
I told you to post clips and I could watch the clips.
Is your attention span that fucked?
I don't watch podcasts or listen to podcasts or music
you
or watch
don't, you
TV.
don't go on them either, but it starts here, Stuart.
I watched the clips though. I know the general consensus, but I thought it was more like let's jump on and just abuse people.
No.
That'd be quite fun.
That is not
That
how
is
we
a
operate.
misconception.
That is a misconception, and we're glad you actually brought that up.
Well, my I add, first of all, I'm not an interesting person. I'm very boring. And
Lies.
second of all, I won't offend anyone personally. That's one of the reasons I never go on podcasts, because I used to get in a little bit of trouble posting on social media, and that was enough. So I thought, you know what? If I stay out of the camera, then I can't offend anybody anymore.
That's fair.
And life's been pretty swimmingly for the last 5 years.
But on this podcast, you don't actually need to worry about offending anybody
We'll do it.
because we'll do it.
I've seen that, yeah.
Right, so let's go. Life
really
story.
hard.
Have a wee think.
It's really hard not to watch that screen, isn't it?
Right, head in the game. Let's go.
Well, no. How far back are we talking?
So,
Life?
starting off,
Social media.
Whereabouts did you come from? Where did you grow up?
Oh, okay, right. Oh, Jesus, that far back?
Yeah, we'll just get bits and
We
bobs.
don't need day by day. Just sum it up, money fuck.
Okay, I was born in an island just off the top of Scotland.
What's that
Lewis.
called? Lewis.
I love Lewis, yeah.
Okay.
Upbringing was a lot different to probably yours.
So you weren't running about, drinking bottles of bucket, smoking joints at
No.
12? No. Okay.
I mean,
Tanning bus shelters.
I guess you could always look back to the beginning and see where you all started. I've never really done it before though. Never done it before. My mum always told me to go to therapy. And you know, I've obviously got unique mannerisms. You can see it in the gym. Sometimes
Autism.
No. You know, I get overly passionate about some stuff.
Yeah.
I lose my temper a lot of times.
well,
and,
I'm going to say a lot of the times you lose your temper.
Yeah,
No.
well, I didn't say that. Someone said that about me.
Oh, okay.
I said it maybe twice,
No.
3 times tops. Me and you were fucking fighting one day, remember?
The RDL stuff, like, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's passion, but passion's good. But no, life was different
Okay.
growing up. It was very different. It was, I mean, we're going to go deep into this.
Go for it.
Go for it. Let's go deep. This is what the people want to see. Like, they're interested in you. And obviously, I think as well, you're pretty similar in a sense to what people think about you, like Kirk was. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously you've got a massive Instagram, you were big on socials, you were very active and stuff, and people get that look at you and think, wank. So it's definitely good to go a wee bit deeper, I think.
Yeah, no, I've definitely had that over the years. It's very common. But people always go, "Oh no, you're not as much of a knobhead in real life as I thought." Like that's a compliment.
Yeah,
Probably.
Yeah.
But listen, we can go down memory lane and you can see how people like you and me and all that are made over time, but it's not like, I don't want to be like, oh my God, my life was so
No, of
hard.
course
Look at me,
not.
the victim fucking
There's
bollocks,
nothing victim about it. You're just telling
yeah,
what
my life's
happened.
good now.
Exactly.
There's a knock-on effect of beginnings. So,
Yep.
but yeah, no, I was conceived on the island, very religious. As soon as I was in my mum, so to speak, that you can get abortions back where I'm from. It's like probably the most religious part of the UK.
Right.
You know anything about the Lewis? No.
Not a
And
screw.
certainly the Western Isles they fall into the same bracket. Very Protestant island. So, but my dad was English, unfortunately. And no one knows that. No one knows that. And he bounced.
Yeah, okay.
So it was. But he always tries to get in touch with me now. He texted me one day being like, oh, you know what? I've been looking for you for years. This was like 2 years ago.
Right.
Convenient.
Looking for me. If you Google my name, even my full name,
Yeah.
I know obviously my name's shortened to not my full name now. There's like 18 pages on Google with just me. So anyway, if my dad's watching, with all due respect to my father, yeah, fuck my father.
Nice.
Anyway, so he bounced. So my mum obviously gave birth and life went on. And in true typical, I think old school, I think good women, I don't know, this is probably a compliment to women to be fair, but good women always seek out men who need help. You ever seen that before?
Yeah, for sure.
Men who are a little bit broken,
Yep.
a little bit depressed, a little bit issues.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
women are just there to protect. And she went from abusive relationship to abusive relationship. I have so many memories when I was young, walking in, my mum getting battered. It was rough, but she just went from one to the next. We moved back, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it was a tough upbringing. I don't really remember that part. But she just kept knocking the devil's door, you know, and eventually he answered in the presence or the form of my stepfather. He's the father of my sisters.
Right.
And he was a fucking monster, like the worst cunt. And that was probably 5, 6, no, more than that, Jesus. Probably like 7, 8 years of just torment, just torture. This guy was horrible. But like, I actually think it's quite fascinating because in the next 2 years, I want to go down a path of studying the brain, like I've been telling you.
Yep.
And I have been doing it for the last 2 years. I'm trying to like make sense of all these things and why people do it. And it's a fascinating topic. So I was a constant reminder to him that my mother once belonged to someone else.
Right.
And that killed him. You know what I mean? So he fucking hated me, man. Hated me. Like he beat the living fuck out of me all the time.
That's insane.
Which
man.
is fine.
Fucking
Listen,
hell, man.
you can take a
Stop fighting.
You can take a punch. You ask any boxer, you get hit 10 times. The 11th time's not that bad. 12 times not that bad. So the physical abuse was fine over the years. But as time went on and my mum gave birth to more children, it became more and more apparent that the family that he wanted still had me. You know what I mean? I was still a cancer to his family, and the hatred just got worse and worse and worse. And yeah, it was bad. It was pretty bad. It like, not to go into too many details, but like over the space of like summer holidays in school. So school was kind of like my solace because obviously it was out the house.
Yeah.
But in the summer holidays, like I told you one day, because we were going to go down the route of doing the NSPCC in Scotland, which is like the Cruelty to Children Society. So you would bounce from areas of the country or the city and you would do focus groups. Now, I never put that on Instagram because I always found that a bit fucking, what's the word? It was cringy. Remember seeing that Roman Lansford guy? Remember he was big back in the day and he was feeding the homeless.
Yeah, aye.
What is this fucking guy doing? He's like, oh, there you go, homeless man. Please like my stuff. Don't touch me, you piece of shit. Oh, run the cameras again. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
It was completely selfish. Feeding a homeless man who's stuck in the street with a kebab.
Yeah.
We made his year, mate. Well done. So we kept that off social media because I didn't want it to look like I was just surfing for
look at
clout.
me, look, we're
Yeah.
yeah.
Look at me helping all these unfortunate kids because I used to be one. Like my video, and that can get me more money, and so on. You know, so we kept that secret. And obviously, like in order to make that public, then this story had to be public as well. No one really knows about this, so the BBC kind of covered it slightly. They just shouldn't have, but they did. My mother took them to the house that we were in, 8 years or whatever, and I don't know why she did. She told me to leave that out. I told her to leave out the documentary the BBC
I think
did
you've
on
told me this. They just sprung it on you, didn't they? Stuck a camera on you, just asked you.
Oh no, that was different. So basically, they took me to the home where we were held fucking captive, so to speak, for years, and they jumped out of the car But the thing was, when you're on telly, they've always got the mic on and the earphones, the plugs. So they jumped out and they videoed my old scheme. And I was in the car being like, why did you bring us here? Like, what was the point of this? Why are we going to leave this out? But they listen and they're like, oh, something about this place is a little bit a little bit deeper. So they never asked. And then one day we were in a warehouse at the SWG3 and there was this kind of setup here. It was a lot darker. They just shine a light on your face and it's got this little screen so you can see, but it's zoomed right in. And they ask you real questions and they want to really throw you off to like make it awkward. So then they were like, oh, so how was life growing up? And I was like, yeah, fine. Childhood was fine. Like, how was your relationship with your stepfather? And I was like, how the fuck? How did they know that? No one told them. And it was really awkward. Anyway, I did a little bit of like 30 seconds. It was a violent upbringing. Let's leave it there.
Yeah.
But they put it into the documentary, even though I told them not to. But they want the documentary to get likes. And beyond the documentary, they got a lot of feedback from these kind of societies. That's why most of my podcast invites were always to do with like domestic abuse and so on and so forth, which I turned all of them down. And anyway, reverting back, school was always a place of solace because I could leave the house. But in the summer holidays or the Easter holidays, which were like 7 weeks long, then when you're a child, you don't have you don't have perspective of time. There's no perception that you might get out of this. If one of us is in a bad spot, you know it's going to pass. But when you're that young, as far as I was concerned, I was going to be in that room for the rest of my life. Simple as that. And I wouldn't see the fucking light of day, mate, for 6-7 weeks.
That's fucking wild,
So
man.
bad,
It was hard. But on the plus side, though,
I love how you've always got a pause for both.
listen, on the plus
On the plus
side,
side.
I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, look at my poor life. When I'm fucking, all these things I've got and my life very good. But on the plus side, it made me very resilient. Because the general trend these days, people always ask me like, oh, you find competition prep so easy? I'm like, I don't.
Because I get battered and locked down for 7 weeks, mate.
I don't find it easy. I just don't moan about it.
Yeah.
I don't give birth to the idea in my head that I am finding it difficult and therefore it doesn't exist. It's easy. So I can't sympathize with people because they come to me with their problems and I go, mate, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
And as time goes on and you meet other people that experience similar things, I mean, luckily I'm a male. Not good at too much gory details, but I met a couple of females over the years who were PTs at other gyms and they had the same issue except their stepfather was sexually abusing them. Now I just got leathered and locked up and tortured. No sexual abuse. Like, fuck. So, yeah, there's always problems. Way worse problems happening to way better people. So just a general perspective, it makes it dead easy to look back and go, you know what, there was positives came of it. Anyhow, time went on, months passed, the years passed. It became long. And it was tough. It was tough. I think the worst part was when my stepfather started to realize that the physical abuse was not that effective on me anymore. You know what I mean? I think when you become like very instinctive in these situations where you could hear my mother getting battered, so I would jump out and start swinging fists. I was only tiny. He was huge.
Try something.
But I didn't want to do that. But it's just like an instinctive thing. You know what I mean? You see someone getting hurt, you're going to jump in. And as time went on, he realized that I started to become numb to it. I'd lie in my room in silence, just hours would just. And then again, the physical abuse was just, I can take a punch at least, positive.
Yeah.
And then it became along the lines of kind of like psychological abuse, like constantly telling me for no reason that, you listen, by the way, you'll always be a fucking loser. You'll never make it off this island. Just constantly going. You must have read a book on how to just abuse the mind of someone. And if you tell someone enough that they're never going to do it, they will believe it 100%. And it was constant, mate. I was a cancer to him. If I had died in that bedroom, it would have made his life 100 times better. Without a shadow of a doubt. Like, he would starve me to death. My mum doesn't even know these things. In fact, when we talked about this the other day, we were talking about NSBC, you see it in the podcast, I was like, listen, leave that out. It's fucking boring. He's like, I'll talk about it. It's quite cool. In order to inspire, it was a good thing. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, I've never even thought of these things till today. For all I said them out loud. But he would starve me. I was dead skinny. And I remember one time, which I thought was quite intelligent of him, to be fair, when I was the rooms had shifted by this point, so I went from that room in the house to this room, and this room looked down onto the scheme, not the back gardens, and I could hear my friends outside. So I lifted back the curtain and I looked down, and one of them fucking seen me, and they're like, "Oh fuck, Steve, you coming out?" And I was like, "Oh shit," because he's in the living underneath, so he's heard them, heard me. So now he knows I'm out my bed.
Right.
So all you hear is like the steps up the stairs, and he's fucking booted the door, and I'm in my bed and like, I did do nothing. Anyway, he's like, you know, I could just fucking smash this wee dick in the face. However, how about, he was like, "You want to go out with your mates?" And I was like, "Yeah, if that's okay." And he's like, "No problem." I get dressed. Got dressed. Downstairs. He double bolted the door, so obviously we couldn't run away.
Fuck.
Unbolt the door. Open the door. On you go. One step, foot outside, goes, "Right, get your clothes on, get back in that fucking bed. Don't make a noise." So it was like almost like psychological trauma.
Fuck, man.
And I remember going, you know what, fair play, man, that is tough. I would rather have taken the punch than
That's
that.
crazy, man.
Anyway, time
What
went
a
on.
sick cunt, man.
And it passed. And I remember the end vividly, actually. I remember the end because I used to sit at the top of the stairs every night and I would rub the paint on the top of the stairs and it would make that kind of noise here, you know? Mm-hmm. And my mother would hear it and she would bring me like a chocolate biscuit because it was fucking starving me to death. Anyway, I was looking down into the kitchen and I could see her and she was arguing with him. He was an alcoholic.
Right.
And he'd come home on a Friday from, he was a scaffolder, so they were fighting. And I could see her, you could see the little bit of the kitchen. And obviously she's made him dinner, a pizza, and he must have lost his temper and he's launched the pizza.
Right.
And it's gone past her head and smashed the wall just behind her. And I don't know why that situation was way worse than other situations, because the police were at my house probably once a fortnight for years. And they were like, "Oh, domestic abuse, who cares? No one gives a fuck about that." And, so she called the police again. And I don't know why this time was different, because it was just a pizza against the wall, you know what I mean? And the police came, and the police took us away this time. I think
The straw that broke the camel's back, innit?
I think so. I don't know if they took, no, I think they took him away. But then they came back and they were like, "Right, something's not right here, because we're here all the fucking time. Like, maybe something's not quite right." You think.
Yeah, you'd think so, aye.
So they took us away. And that was the first time that had happened. So they put us into like protection. It was like a kind of like a, what's it called? Like a women's protection hostel.
Right.
So it was us in a locked house with like a barricaded door. And that was it. That was the end of it. I remember it like it was, this morning. And then we were in that house for 6-7 months maybe. Mm-hmm. While he got put through the justice system, I think he got thrown off the island. I think he was like the first person ever to get thrown off and barred in Isle of Lewis.
Fuck.
And that was it.
How did that feel, like the relief from that? Like,
It was very liberating, of course.
Yeah.
I was in a house.
not getting leathered.
I had a telly. I could watch the television. I had a Nintendo from like the fucking 80s. And I was like, this is the greatest moment of my life. And it was incredible. So, yeah, I think post stepfather though, my mum felt very guilty. So she was like, listen, do what you want. If you don't want to go to school, don't go to school. And so on and so forth. But that will always stay with me. That guy rang in my ears for years after. I never saw him ever again. He died about 5 years ago.
Good.
And so it was good. But then obviously like the next part of my life, my mother felt obviously extremely guilty, and she was just like, listen, I hated school. I didn't hate school. I had to get up in the morning. So my attendance was down at 30% at this point.
Right.
And then I got told to leave school. But then I was like, Jesus Christ, my stepfather told me I would be a fucking loser. Now, if you leave school in Isle of Lewis, you're stuck there for life.
Yeah, you're just fucked.
And I was like, he was right. I am a fucking loser. Like, this is my life in this shithole. And I was like, no, just one more chance. He's like, mate, just leave. I was like, nah. And then I knuckled down. Ended up getting the Advanced Higher Mathematics Prize. I ended up putting my knuckle in. I went to university. I did my master's. Well, I did my honours degree.
Where did you go to uni?
Strathclyde Uni.
Strathclyde.
I played football. I was an athlete at that point. When I left the island, I hadn't drunk any alcohol. I was just studying football. That was it.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So then came to Glasgow, bit of Strathclyde, done your masters. What happened after that?
Well, the next part, ironically, you think life couldn't get any worse than what I just described, but it turns out life can get worse. And I think when you're an adult and you do have perspective, you start to realize that life can actually be really shit. Even if you have things, it doesn't matter. So I graduated. Now, I graduated under the pretense, they told me, go to uni, get a degree. Okay. I did a mathematics degree. Okay. I'm one of the smartest people in the country at this moment in terms of degrees. Now, there's guys in my class that were smarter than me, obviously. But they tell you, if you do a computer science degree or a mathematics degree, you're going to earn lots of money.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Look at the stats. And they're the two most earning degrees in the planet, in every country. So I'm thinking, this is it. I'll do my degree.
Yeah.
5 years, I'll be driving a Ferrari. Easy. I'll be living in a penthouse. They couldn't have been any further from the fucking truth. Could not have been any further from the truth. I left university, and as soon as you stop paying them, they go, see you later, mate. Don't let the fucking door hit you.
Yeah.
And like, can you help? Like, no, we can't help. You don't pay us. So I was out of my arse. So I had to go home for a couple of months to see my mother. And then I moved back to Glasgow. I didn't have any money at this point. I was broke, and my mum was fucking broke too. So I moved into this flat with this kind of big girl and really skinny guy, that kind of. And they had 3 big dogs. It was in Langside Avenue in Glasgow, and they had big, massive dogs, and they used to do the toilet in the flat all the time. And it was horror show stuff, mate. And I got paid £150 per month from the job seeking allowance. So that's like the job centre. You go in and you just sat there going, I got a fucking maths degree.
Yeah.
I think I almost made it as a professional footballer, and I'm sat here. What the fuck? And anyway, I was applying for jobs and I was getting rejected from jobs all the time. I had no experience. Of course, how do you get experience? And I was overqualified. I was classed as overqualified. So basically, if you go to a job that pays, say, under £20,000, they assume that you're looking for better jobs with your degree. So they won't give you a job. So there's no point in training you.
Middle ground where you're like underqualified, overqualified, but underexperienced.
So there's no point in training you because you're going to leave. Waste your time. So yeah, I applied for 50, 60 jobs, mate. I went to so many interviews. I Slater's, the job centre, pay for a suit.
Right.
So you can go to interviews.
Yeah.
They gave me a suit that was like 4 times too big. I looked like an idiot. By this point, I was tiny though. I was only like 65 odd kilos.
Jesus.
I was a skinny little fucking loser at this point. And I had a girlfriend at the time, my first ever girlfriend. So for 3.5 years or whatnot. And as we were living in this flat, my mum paid her phone bill. That's why I was snooping. It's really weird.
Right.
And she was cheating on me with a guy from the Marines. That's your first girlfriend, And that hit me so hard, man. Now, rather than me sit here and go like, oh my God, I was crying. The worst part for me wasn't just the fact that she was cheating on me, but the guy was big. He had muscles. He probably wasn't that big looking back.
But at the time,
he had 6-pack. And I've never felt so fucking emasculated in my entire life, mate. Honestly. And I had to continue living with her while she was seeing him, but at the same time. And it was rough. I know obviously when you say it in perspective to things like domestic assault, it doesn't seem rough, but it was rough at the time because obviously by that point you've never matured, you've never experienced things like heartbreak, and it's tough. And that went on for like 3-4 months, me living with her while she was seeing a guy. And it hurt me that he was a big guy, well respected. And I was a fucking loser, man. And I was just, and the whole time life goes on, you're just thinking like, maybe my stepfather was right. You're just a fucking loser, mate. Just go home to your mum. Just do it. And I'd always have the devil and the angel on my shoulder going, you can't go home. Like, you cannot go back to that fucking island. You'll never get off it. Yeah. So anyway, we got, the lease ended and I was homeless. And I went to live with my friend. We've never talked about this day actually, because I PT him now. I lived in his floor for about a year, and luckily for me, I had the login details to Strathclyde's math building. The admin got it wrong, and it expired a year after I graduated. So I had somewhere to go during the day, So I had no money, and I could go there and go in the computers and try and find jobs. And I was just sat there going, this is fucked. And I was so close to going home. Just, I've done it. I could go home proud thinking, you know what, I tried my best.
Yeah.
But 50 interviews by this point, literally insurance companies, underwriting, banking jobs. They're all fucking shit jobs as well. And I thought, just go. You tried your best. You can come back, just get some money back home working in a fucking bakery or some shit. And come back and we'll start again. And then I was on the computer one day and I was on this website called Read. God, if I seen that website today, it would give me horrible PTSD. And an advert popped up and this guy in his protein shake and his like muscles and his vest, and he was like, would you like to be a personal trainer? I remember seeing that being like, that'd be fucking sick. And it wasn't for like anything other than the fact that like no one respected me at this point. I was a fucking skinny little reject from university. Football career was done at this point. So my respect, that's what I always wanted. I wanted respect. You know, I wanted to go and get my degree and earn lots of money and go back home and go, here, look at all these fucking losers that didn't make it. Look at me. And I was the opposite. And I thought, fuck it, I'll do it. But I had no money. So I went to this job, it's called like fitnessjobs.com or whatever, and it was like I was applying for every single job in a gym. I was fucking the janitor, the lifeguard, the receptionist. I had no qualifications or money. And I got rejected from every one of them. It took me about 9 months to do this. I mean, time was passing at this point and it was getting long days. And then Virgin Active offered me an interview for front of house, the receptionist, which they rejected me the first time. And then I went back 3 months later, they rejected me the second time. Then the third time, fourth time I went back, they were like, why are you here, mate? Come on. So I leveled with them and I said, listen, this is the reason I want to do it. My life's shit. I want to be big. I can't afford a gym membership. So she rejected me again. But she pulled me back with, listen, I am actually losing sleep over this. I can give you a 0-hour contract, guarantees you no money. But what it does do is it gets your foot in the door and it gets your membership for the gym. And I've never been like, I'll take it. And it's amazing looking back how incredibly, how much of a gift that was. Look at me now. I can afford anything I want. And I'm going, ugh, life sucks. I don't do that, to be fair, but imagine all the stuff we can afford now. And back then, the amount of fucking stimulation I got from a gym membership. And now we fucking moan, oh, I don't like this gym because it doesn't have a fly machine. I don't like this gym because its machines are broken. It's just funny how like perspective plays such an important role. And that was it. I worked my ass off and it took me 2 years to get to fitness coach. 2 years more to get to PT. I was the employee of the year, 5 years running. I was easily the highest earning PT in Virgin's history. Easily. Maybe not earning because the London prices were double the price, but in terms of sessions sold, without a doubt. And I was just hell-bent and just finally making a name for myself. And then they started, they knew I was passionate about it, so they put me through lots of training courses. They put me through customer service. They put me through customer retention. They trained me to, I was black and blue in the face, mate, and they shortened my name. They trademarked me basically. They sold me, and I made them fortunes. The only time Virgin Active in Glasgow ever made profit was when I was PT. It was a non-profit club, basically. The London clubs made profit, they didn't. The value of the company was huge, but the profit in Glasgow and Scotland was zero. And that was that. Started there.
Happy about that. That's a fucking...
Fuck, that was good.
You saying, oh, my life's no interesting. Nobody's going to want to listen to this.
35 minutes deep. Because we didn't know, I don't know, I didn't know all that. I knew bits and details, but
we didn't know the depths of it.
If we didn't know that, I know a lot of people will not have a fucking clue, so that's good to get that out.
No one knows that.
Just because how in-depth that got, we're going to go a wee bit rapid fire through some questions we got asked, some questions we've got. So next one, aspirations, personal and business going forward for like the next couple of years. Anything that sticks out?
Anything you want to achieve, anything where you want to go?
I want to get my FPV Pro card. Whether it's achievable or not, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant to me because obviously like the path is the same regardless. I don't get people who go like, what show you doing, when you're doing it. It doesn't matter. People always go, When are you compete next? I don't know. How don't you know? It doesn't matter when I compete next. It's irrelevant. Andy knows.
Yeah.
Ask him. He gives me a diet. I follow the diet. He reacts to the results. I follow that. So what the fuck difference does it make if I don't know? Just find out. I don't want to find. I don't care.
What's your time frame on that, would you say, for an IFBB Pro card that you got within
I always
the next
said,
X amount of years?
Yeah, I always said as long as I enjoy it.
Right.
Fair.
And I enjoy it. I love what we do.
Fair.
It's like what we do is a gift. Like we have the best career in the world.
Yeah. 100%.
I earn a great amount of money. I can do whatever the fuck I want when I want. I have a stress-free life. I have no debt. How could life be any better? I don't think it could. I love my life here. Like we lived in Australia, so we came back.
Yeah.
Because life in Australia was amazing, of course, but it wasn't better than Scotland. It was just
Different.
as good as.
Right.
You can't move home if the place you're moving to is not better than the place you came from. That doesn't make any sense because you got your friends and your family back home, so that adds points straight away. And people go, "Oh, the weather's shit." I'm like, the weather's not shit. You tell yourself the weather's shit. You can't enjoy good weather without shit weather first. I lived in sun for a year. I could not stand the sight of the thing. Get me a cold breeze or a dark night. Business to me is pretty swimming. I don't advertise. I'm fully booked all year long. I have 50 clients in January. I got 50 clients in December.
Yep.
I don't need to run in the gym with my little mic. If I can be like, oh, look at this. Please give me money.
He's talking about you.
Oh,
Right?
yes.
I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate.
Classmate. Right, so we touched on that there. So, this was one for somebody was, how do you think, I think you may actually touched on it there in regards to Virgin, right? But how did you master your socials? And why did you stop like pushing them?
I get asked this lots. And I'm not one of these gimps who goes, oh, I got loads of people asking me. Like I do get asked it a lot because people are desperately trying to crack social media and failing miserably. And I think, I don't want to I won't try and offend anyone here. Obviously, I don't want to offend. I won't specifically offend. But the problem with people these days that try to get social media going, they don't have a lane. First of all, what's interesting about them? Is it their personal interest or is their business? Pick one. You can't have a picture of your fucking dog and your bodybuilding career in one post and then being like, please give me money on the next post. That's not interesting. The reason I became so well known on Instagram is because one day when me and my friends, at this point I had a little bit more money, I could afford my own rent. So I had my own flat. And I was on the computer one day and I was on a website called Simply Shredded. I still have the website page there. Now, I made it to the gym floor, but I still had no aspirations of where my life was going at this point. I wanted to be a personal trainer. And I read an article from a guy called Jaco De Bruyne. He was a South African guy. And I remember looking at that guy and going, he was built like a Greek god. And the respect that he got from me was exponential. And I always wanted respect. That's all I wanted. I didn't want fucking money or recognition, nothing of that. See, when they did all the expos and my pictures were on the wall and the ceilings and all that bollocks, I didn't care about that stuff. You look at that time when I won that show, when the BBC went that did the documentary.
Yep.
I tried my hardest to not look like a twat on stage when I won. But I didn't fucking care. That's not why I did all this. I just wanted respect from my peers. Yeah. That's all I cared about. And I seen this article with this guy and I remember having the most amount of respect for that because this physique was beautiful. Like it was perfect. And I was thinking, that's what I want. That's what I want. Now at this point I was still so skinny. So I thought, fuck it, I need to do this. So I started a social media page and my first ever post was the quest to be Jaco De Bruyne.
I remember that.
Day number 1.
Right.
And it was interesting. There was this fucking skinny little loser Bellion from Scotland, destined. By this point, WBFF was everywhere. It was well known.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like what they brought to this stage, it was on par with the IFBB, but not the open stuff, of course. But the other stuff, man, these guys were ripped. They were shredded. They had square glutes. They had Christmas tree striations. They were fucking unbelievable. Over time, the WBF became shy, of course, but I think I caught the tail end of it, fortunately, so I still had that respect. And I posted it, and I started going to the gym. I started taking protein. Day number 2, 3, 6, 10, 12. I thought, fuck, I'll go on stage. So I went on stage against Kirk.
Yep.
I beat him.
Look at you, smart.
Get it up, you Kirk.
That was probably one of the only shows I ever did in Scotland. I was so out of my depth though, man. They were like doing quarter turn to the right, and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Not a single posing class, or not a clue what I was doing. Not at the T-walk. And it just went from there. And it was interesting. And the answer to the question is simple. How did you blow up your social? Because I was interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, if I go into someone's social media page, in the birth of, in the new age of business mentors who are like, oh, by the way, see if you're pathetically worthless. It's okay. Don't worry about that. Post a video. Yeah, get a mic, get a good DSLR, post it, post shit. If you get 6 likes, it's okay. It's not fucking okay. It's not okay. If your video is getting 20 likes, 30 likes, it's fucking worthless. Your content is worthless shit. Okay, and then you try and beat the algorithm. That's another great one. We'll beat the algorithm by doing what? By posting more shit. You're becoming more fucking worthless. Yep. Okay, these people they're everywhere. I see them in the gym, in my fucking gym. I see them in the social media every single day. It's just garbage content. And they're the ones ask me, oh, how did you blow your social media up? Because I'm interesting and you're not. Why would I want to follow you? I follow you because I have no choice. Because I followed you in the beginning, now I can't unfollow you. How many people have been in that spot?
Yeah.
Garbage. Yeah. Mute. Garbage content. That's why they can't get business. That's why they can't get social media followers, because they're fucking so boring and they're worthless. But the business mentors gave birth to this idea that being worthless was okay.
Yeah.
Just be worthless 10 times a day in 10 different reels.
Yeah, the fitness industry is now at a stage now where the benchmark is so alarmingly low that if you help one person, it's worth it. No, it's fucking not. No, it's not worth nothing. So now that anyone can be a PT now, skinny, fat, unmotivated, uneducated, it doesn't make any sense. You see a fat PT. The guy who copies James Smith with the ginger hair, Harry Potter accent. That guy jumped on the social media the other day, and then you got to give it to this guy. He knows how to rage bait. And he was like, no, fat people. No, that Ricardo guy posted him, the Welsh boy.
Yeah,
he's crazy Welsh guy. He posted him, and I didn't listen to the post to be fair, but the premise was, can fat people be PTs? And he went, yeah, of course they can. Why not? Well, why? Okay, well, fat people can be knowledgeable. Okay, fine. So we're at a stage now in the fitness industry where knowledgeable has become a purely subjective term.
Yeah.
Purely subjective. How are they knowledgeable? Because they read that. And fucking what? That's not knowledge. You just read it. So in typical debate scenarios, the most unintelligent approach to debate is giving a counterexample. You go, well, that guy's in shape and he's got no knowledge. I'm fucking what? We're not talking about him. I can show you 20 guys juiced out their nuts who are shit PTs. We'll go next door to Extreme. We'll find a few in there.
Find plenty in there.
But that was it. The standard of the PT industry now is so pathetically low.
It's poor.
So one of the questions we've got is biggest problem in the industry. So can I tie that in there? Is that one of your biggest problems, Yank? The standard of...
Yeah, the industry is now, it's fucked. It's a rotting carcass. The smart PTs know it. The stupid PTs don't realise it. You get a bunch of PTs now who can't even sort out their own shit, who are charging people to sort out their shit. How does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get, listen, you can sit here and point the finger at fat PTs all day, which you should, because knowledge is now a case of, like I was saying, you can read something. How do you lose fat? You go into a deficit. It's not fucking rocket science. Does that mean my mother can just read how to lose fat and become a personal trainer? Why not? Why not? Because she knows.
Yeah.
So if knowledge was so important, then why can't anyone just be a PT? No, knowledge is more about just like knowing. It's about applying.
Yeah.
And it's about going, oh, by the way, this is my knowledge, and look what I did with it.
Yeah, yeah.
To myself.
Yeah.
You get a personal trainer who's fat, through not being deliberate. You can get powerlifters or shot putters that are deliberate, or rugby players or that are deliberately fatter. Yeah. And,
So who's one of that?
and yeah, so these guys are not deliberately fat. They're just fat.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you ever wanted to go down even fucking deeper into this guy, where the guy goes, the guy will post me going, oh, look at this guy just because he's in shape. No, okay, fine. But 90% of the PT industry, not fitness industry, this is not the same thing, is fat loss clients.
Yep.
Is it not?
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
So should you not know how to?
Lose fat.
Exactly. Through, first of all, applying it to yourself. Now, if there was a percentage of the PT industry where clients actively wanted to get fatter for no other reason than just get fatter, these guys would be perfect. Absolutely. I'm not saying being fat's bad, but in this scenario, it most certainly is.
Yep.
So they shouldn't be fucking PTs. The problem that I have now with the PT industry is it's just a bunch of fucking self-righteous PTs who walk around going, I'm better than all of you, with their fucking mic and their camera, and they're just, please, can I have your money?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this bicep curl that I do. Can I have your money?
Yeah.
That's all they fucking do.
Look at this bicep curl with my fucking twig arms.
Business mentors, like you talked about a few episodes ago, they're fucking useless. Average PTs teaching other average PTs how to not be average PTs and became even more average PTs.
Honestly,
and I say average because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Shit PTs teaching shitter PTs.
Yeah.
And they always go, oh, but I had 40 clients. You worked in a pure gym, mate. They are funneling clients to the door for free. Go to an elite gym or an elitist type gym, like Future, and see if you can get 30 clients in there.
Yeah.
Not a fucking chance.
Not a chance.
Not a chance. Okay. They gave birth to the idea that you don't need to be knowledgeable. You don't need to chase knowledge or chase the ability to apply knowledge. Just get a mic and talk shit to the camera, and they'll come. They'll come. You can funnel them all in. And if it gets 5 likes, don't worry about me. I seen a guy post on the other day. I don't know how the fuck he got on my Explore page. This random fucking guy from Glasgow. And he was one of Chris Bradley's little minion type things. And I'm not saying anything about Chris Bradley or whatever. And his status on the 2025 year. Yeah, I don't know how he got on my Explore page. The post only had about 14 likes. So how the hell it's gotten to my page?
Yeah.
Irrelevant. But his take in the year was, I've had a fucking amazing year. Chris has helped me through so much. Okay. He's taught me how to market, how to advertise. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what he said. How to funnel clients and use this and use that technique and use this technique and use that technique. 10 things. And he's like, what a year. What a year. At no point did this fucking personal trainer mention, oh, by the way, I learned something to do with personal training.
Yeah.
He just mentioned and rolled off stuff about sales.
Oh, I progressed my training like this,
And
or my clients
Motherfucker
progressed
looked
this.
like my stepfather. Okay, he was a big, tall, skinny shithouse. Yeah. He never talked about learning the process or learning the industry. Oh, see clients. Oh, fuck clients.
I
mate.
took more money off people this year, was the message.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh, see the clients. Yeah, fuck the clients, by the way. No, just take their money. Fuck them.
Well, that's what it is now. It's sales. That's what it is.
That's my issue with the PT industry now.
Yeah.
Now that the shit PTs outweigh the good PTs.
Yep.
It's good for us, obviously. It makes us look
Yeah.
great. But it annoys me intently because I have a lot of love for this industry. It gave me the world. And at one point I was on top of the world.
Yeah.
I was getting flown all over the world. I was doing amazing things because of this industry. And now this is the standard we have. It's pathetic.
I know. But briefly, changing direction, what is gear? Kissing a guy for 3 minutes or a guy sucking you off for 30 minutes?
Obviously kissing a guy.
So,
What?
you kissing a guy, right, for 3 minutes or a guy sucking you off for 30 minutes? What's gear?
First one.
Kissing?
100%.
Agreed. Agreed.
If you go to Australia, you go to,
Where the fuck is this going? In Australia?
if you go to Australia, right, and you stand in the tee, golf course. Yeah, you take a driver out and you pipe a shot 300 yards, right? And it goes straight into the fucking water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You've hit a great shot, but it's ended up in a bad spot.
Right.
You get me?
Yep.
The old boy said to me, "You basically just shagged your sister, mate." I was like, what the fuck does that mean? He's like, feels good, doesn't it? But feels bad at the same time. With the lights off, it's all the same.
What a fucked up analogy.
That's awful.
And I was like, well, you make a good point.
That's
Right,
crazy.
moving on swiftly. Would you rather train in a freezing cold gym or a roasting hot gym?
Cold.
Yep.
Australia was brutal.
Really?
Like,
Cold?
Sweaty.
I'd rather be in a cold gym.
Mate, you can't.
Fucking knees and
Put a jumper on.
elbows and shit.
You keep on
Nah.
your knees and your sound.
Some days
Hot,
the aircon,
defo
if the
hot.
aircon was broken in Australia, mate, the last place you want to be was that gym. You can only take so many layers off.
To be fair, Titan in Alicante,
Yeah, horrible.
when I trained there for
Sweaty.
Andy's pro qualifier, that was fucking roasting.
You can put layers on, but you can't take them off.
I don't know on that one.
Why can you not get Kyle to train properly still?
Listen, Kyle's not my fucking problem. Like, Kyle is, how would we put this?
There we go.
Kyle would certainly fall under the new age of personal trainers, in my opinion. Certainly not old school. And I've met a few of them over the last couple of years. Now, my role over the last 2 years, when I went to Australia, I was bulking and I was struggling to bulk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I used to fight with Scott Burns over the lateral raise.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he was like,
fucking starting this.
why? And I was like, you know what? I don't actually know why it doesn't build muscle. I just fucking know it doesn't. Anyway, I went to Australia and I couldn't eat the food on the bulk, right? And it was annoying me. I couldn't even get 1,000 calories. You know when your body's that fucked on a bulk? And they're always like, oh, just force it in. And I couldn't understand why I couldn't eat. And that was a big problem for me. I came from a background of just academia and knowledge. I loved knowledge. I didn't know. And that really, really fucking bothered me. So I had plenty of time in Australia at the beginning. There were no clients. So I started reading a lot. And I went back to the fucking 40s, the 30s, the 20s. These guys were smarter than us. A lot smarter than us. And I learned why it all happened. Okay? And in the birth of me learning all these things and going down this route, I wanted to now teach PTs. Okay? At any given moment, I'll PT probably 10 to 15 personal trainers at once. And I love teaching. Okay? Some PTs are perfect. I'll talk to you guys and you'll go, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I talked to Kyle in the new age of personal training, and they're proud people. It happened in Australia as well. One of the boys out in Australia was so fucking proud. I'll go, by the way, this is a fact. And they'll go, I don't think so. No, it's true. Kyle doesn't want to learn. Kyle will take what we do in the gym and he will pass it on, of course, but he doesn't want to learn from me. And that's fine. It's okay. His loss. And there was one day in the gym there where he was fucking pissing me off so much. And I said, listen, you know what? When he was doing the peg fly and he was fucking launching it all over the place, and I'm like, do it properly, please. We can't count it. And then he went off on a big rant. And I was like, you know what? That's the I'm done.
He's going to
You know what?
That was the first time I seen him.
I'm never
flapping shit.
going to tell you
Was it
anything ever
worse than
again.
the RDL stuff like with me and him?
No, that was good banter.
Well, I usually go back and forth, but that was just him. Just
Oh,
like,
you just flipped.
Kyle, you're a fucking prick. Fuck up.
And I was like, I'm done. I'm never saying anything ever again to you. And I have a vast amount of knowledge that I love passing on, and there's lots of stuff I've never talked about.
Yeah.
But there's no value in me passing it on unless someone takes it from me. But if
I'm always here, arms open, taking everything you give me. So
I don't see why not.
Just keep it coming. Everything.
If I was in a room,
the last thing.
I would love to go in a room with some of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the world.
Yeah.
And I would sit there going, by the way, I'm smart. Okay, you know more. Please teach me.
Yep.
Not a case of, by the way, I'm smart as well. So,
Aye.
fine. And I said to him that day, I was like, no more. I'm done. I'm fed up with it. I don't care anyway, because he's my friend, but he's not my client.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say stuff like that to him. It's different.
Right, we've got one here. Someone's got a bit of beef for you here. So, why do you have IFBB in your bio when you're not a pro? That's what someone's asking.
That's the most retarded question I've ever asked. Because I'm an IFBB amateur.
One NPC in it.
I don't even know what that even means.
Amateurs NPC. Like IFBB amateurs not.
But if
really
I
a
say
thing, is it?
IFBB classic physique and I say IFBB pro classic physique, because you see the guys who win the pro card, they go IFBB pro.
Yeah.
So,
Fair.
I mean, I can delete it right now. I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to impress anyone.
Don't delete it, mate. It's just the opinion of one that's so right, okay. So, why did you tell people who struggle to eat to get a McDonald's every day?
This was
Well, ultimately, that was back before I learned how to bulk properly.
Right.
As far as I was concerned, I couldn't get the food in. That was way back in like 2000 and probably 18. I remember that. I couldn't eat clean, high volume. So the only option I had was to eat dirty, high volume instead. Because I could not get food in. Obviously, looking back now, it was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But back then, the premise of bulking was so off-piste. It was wild. Obviously, you know my opinions on this now. It was a case of like, eat more food and you'll grow more muscle.
I started training right at the peak of that as well. So like I started training, and I think I started training at 52 kilo. No, 56 it was, and then I done a diet straight away because I thought I had to get lean. I got to 52 kilo, and then all I seen was you just need to eat as much as you can, eat whatever you can. So I went, cool. I done like 6,000 calories for a year and a half straight. I went from 52 kilo to 105 kilo in a year and a half, and I was a fat dick. But that was right at the kind of tail end of that, I think.
I mean, to be fair, you get a lot of weight, which is tough. But the bulking thing was just nonsense. Fucking total nonsense. First of all, we weren't recovering for nothing. Our gym sessions were fucking useless anyway.
Your stomach was fucked all the time.
You were just getting fatter. Your liver was getting saturated. Your pancreas was going out your arsehole because it was just getting used non-stop. The pancreas was like an ECG all day long. Your brain was giving in because of it. And your cortisol levels were you had chronic stress because of the constant food. Imagine being in a situation where the food was stressing you and not the training.
Yeah.
It was just a pathetic synergy of shit, and no one knew otherwise because big bodybuilders had to eat more to grow. But that was different. We're not big in respect to these people at all.
So you've changed your take on that.
Well, you know my take on bulking now.
Yeah.
That's caused a
We
few
don't even
arguments
have
in the gym
time to get into that. You're coming back on. I know you said this is your first and last, but we're going to need to come back
This
on.
is our first and last part one.
Aye, first and last podcast brand. But you'll be back on this podcast.
Listen, this won't get many views. I'm
I
boring.
can assure you will.
This is what's really going to set off your podcast, only.
100%.
Not babe.
This podcast. Wait and you'll see.
Right.
Wait and you'll see.
Anything else you want to ask? We're kind of short-ish on time.
Are you natty?
Someone's actually asked that, by the way.
Seriously?
I swear somebody asked that.
That's a bit of an insult, to be honest.
It was an anonymous one.
If I look at
Major insult.
I mean, if I look at then yes.
All natural.
That was the same person that asked about the McDonald's thing as well.
That's a good memory though. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Surely
That was like
you think someone who knows that would know you're not natty. Must be bamming you up.
Yeah, of course, but 2000, that was like 2018. Because I
You
remember
fucking hell.
the BBC coming into the room that I had when I was living at the time, because I was living between flats at the time. It was a shithole. That's another story for another day, being fucking depressed and suicidal because of using things like PEDs wrong. Brutal time in my life, that. And that was the same time.
Right.
That would have been around the 2018 mark when the BBC told me to just can the documentary because I was fucking going to end up throwing myself off the Erskine Bridge. So,
Not ideal.
No, most definitely not. Let's just, that's what I asked this last question. Don't go too in depth because I know what you're like. And it's a
You've
question
got
that's
2
asked,
minutes.
but it's also aimed at you in a sense because it says opinion on food choices in prep, and then in brackets, muffins.
be your dad.
I think it was.
Wait, no check.
It blows my mind how people still ask me how I can eat these foods on prep, and yet I have a photo album of pictures of me. I mean, yes, I might not be the biggest guy, but no one will ever out-condition me.
Yeah.
Ever.
You're always in good condition.
Yeah, no, not in good condition, Dylan.
No, you're always in good condition. But when you
phenomenal condition.
push on, it becomes phenomenal.
Yeah.
Steady on.
But just think about it, everybody else walking about in okay condition, you're always in good condition.
Food's food, man. Food's food, ultimately. And as long as you can keep your blood sugar in check, fat will come off. You know how easy it is to put someone into deficit? It's not fucking hard. See all these PTs who are like, oh, by the way, look what I did to this person here. They're fat and lean. I'm like, get a fucking grip. That's not impressive.
Yeah.
That's not impressive. You put them in a deficit. That's not impressive. It's not. Getting someone in a deficit is super easy. Getting them to stay in it, well, that's your fucking problem and theirs.
Yeah.
But putting them into it's fine. I'm in a deficit by a lot right now. So if I'm eating 3,000 calories right now, I'm easily in 1,000 calorie deficit minimum.
Yeah.
So what the fuck difference does it make?
Yeah.
Plus the chips aren't full of like maltodextrin or dextrose. It's not fuck man. It's chips. It's potatoes. It's 97.
Then about the chips, mate. Calm down. It's about muffins.
97% potato.
It's just because it's a heavy cheat code that he's got.
It's not.
But people don't see it as that. People look at you and think, he's eating chips on prep. What the fuck? But no, it's just fucking potato.
I'll tell you what, I will touch on this. I went to Australia and I wanted to cut for potentially a show, and I started the diet with Andy, and we were doing specific foods. Now, I don't like that. Now, there's the problem right there. I don't like it. Okay, it's a tough process of prep. You know that yourself. If you don't like something, this whole like, just get on with the idea, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that way anyway. So I was fucking flat. I looked terrible in my check-in photos. I was eating potatoes, actual potatoes. And they were fucking watery and dry in the skin. I was like, this sucks. So anyway, I told Andy, I was like, listen, I'm fucking sick of this. I'm sorry, I look like a bag of shite. Okay, now, it's a chicken and egg scenario. What came first? The fact that I didn't like it and caused my stress to go up, which caused me to look like a bag of shit? Or was it the food that caused me to look like a bag of shit? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant anyway. So I went to the store. I found the potato the chips. I text Andy, I'm fucking eating these, mate. I'm sorry. And he went, no problem. 3 days later, my body was alive.
Fuck.
And then I posted on my Instagram, went to the store next day, all the chips were gone.
There we go.
And they sent them in.
Raging.
And it's like, it's fine. Get the fucking chips out there.
Anyway, in that prep for 24 weeks, I didn't eat a single carb except chips.
Nice.
And porridge, obviously, for breakfast.
Yeah.
And that was it.
In the butt.
And I was exceedingly lean.
Exceedingly.
Oh.
And I loved every meal.
Yeah.
Loved it. So I still do it.
So exceedingly is a...
And the muffin thing, remember, many people went, here, you're eating muffins. I'm like, yeah, no, it's in my plan.
Yeah.
You can't eat muffins. I'm like, does Andy know? Yeah, Andy knows. He gave it to me. I said that like 6 times and still people went, that's shocking. Andy, come here. I'm like, this motherfucker, he gave it to me.
This motherfucker.
This motherfucker.
So Andy knows everything I do.
Yeah.
I troll the guys, obviously, a wee bit. And I tell them to check in. By the way, I'm not taking the piss.
Yeah.
There was one day I had to get that meal, that my protein meal.
Oh,
Charlotte was gone for 3 days. How am I supposed to cook my own food?
Such
I don't even know how to work the air fryer.
For fuck's sake, that's
I do.
That's another story.
Right, anyway,
Anyway,
that is the end of the episode with Stu Mac. That was a sick
good one.
episode.
That was good.
Mate. Very, very good.
well, I thought it was going to be a bit boring, but
Nah, not at all.
Not at all. This will fly. So yeah, mate, thanks for coming on. We'll be live with this on Sunday,
12 as usual.
12 as usual. You know what to do.
I didn't offend anyone, did I?
Like,
Nah.
subscribe,
Comment. Let us know who you want to see.
do your stuff. And just to add, next podcast, it's just going to be us two, and we have another call out, so stand the fuck by. Peace.